The year is 793 AD. Imagine the silence of a monastery in Northumbria, England. Monks pray, candles flicker, the sea crashes softly outside. Suddenly, the peace is shattered. Black sails appear on the horizon. Long wooden ships, carved with dragon heads, cut through the waves. Fierce men with axes and shields leap ashore. They speak a language no one understands. For the monks, this day is terror. But for history, it is the beginning of something greater, the Viking Age. But who were these people? Were they only savage raiders? Or was there more to them than fear and fire? The word Viking comes from the Old Norse word Viking, meaning sea warrior or pirate. Yet, not every Scandinavian was a Viking. They were farmers, fishermen, craftsmen, and explorers who, when the time came, turned to the seas for wealth and adventure. The Viking Age stretched roughly from 793 AD to 1066 AD, lasting almost 3 centuries. It was a time when men and women from Scandinavia transformed Europe. They were warriors, yes, but they were also traders, settlers, storytellers, and believers in mighty gods like Odin and Thor. Their story is not just about raiding, but about survival, ambition, and exploration. To understand the Vikings, we must first step into their homelands. Picture the rugged landscapes of Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Mountains, forests, and icy seas shaped their lives. Winters were long and harsh, summers short and precious. Farming was possible but difficult. Families grew barley, rye, and oats. They raised cattle, sheep, and pigs. Yet the land could not always provide enough food for growing populations. This struggle for survival pushed them toward the sea. Their skill in building ships, combined with courage, made them natural sailors. Every boy learned to fight, fish, and row. Every girl learned to manage farms and homes while men were away. Women had more freedom compared to most of Europe. They could own property, divorce, and even fight. Some became shieldmaidens, legendary female warriors. A Viking village was busy from dawn to dusk. Blacksmiths forged weapons, women spun wool into cloth, children learned stories of gods and heroes by firelight. They wrote with runes carved into wood or stone. Their religion was full of mighty gods, terrifying giants, and prophecies of doom and rebirth. Life was not easy, but it was full of meaning, honor, and courage. The world remembers the Vikings most for their raids, and for good reason. The first major recorded raid was at Lindisfarne in 793 AD. Monks who had never seen warriors like these described them as demons from the sea. But raids were not mindless violence. They were strategic. Vikings chose targets that were wealthy and weakly defended: monasteries, coastal towns, and trade ports. Their greatest weapon was not just the axe or sword, but the longship. Long, sleek, and fast. It could sail in the open sea and shallow rivers alike. This meant they could strike deep into Europe, appear suddenly, and vanish just as quickly. Imagine waking up one morning to see 50 dragon-headed ships on the horizon. The fear alone could collapse kingdoms. But raiding was only part of the story. Vikings were also explorers and traders. They established settlements in Iceland, Greenland, and even reached North America around the year 1000 AD, centuries before Columbus. They sailed east too, creating trade routes through Russia and all the way to the Middle East. They traded furs, amber, and slaves for silver, silk, and spices. The Vikings were not just destroyers. They were builders of connections between distant lands. At the heart of Viking life was their belief system, a rich mythology full of gods, giants, and heroes. They believed in Odin, the one-eyed All-Father who sacrificed his eye for wisdom; Thor, the thunder god, who protected gods and men with his hammer Mjolnir; Loki, the trickster who caused chaos but also shaped destiny; They imagined the universe as Yggdrasil, the world tree, connecting 9 realms. Above was Asgard, home of the gods. Midgard was the world of men. Beneath were the darker realms, Hel, the land of the dead, and Niflheim, the land of ice. Vikings believed in honor above all. To die bravely in battle was the greatest fate, for then a warrior's soul would be taken by the Valkyries to Valhalla, Odin's hall, where endless feasting and fighting awaited. Those who did not die in battle might go to Hel, a cold, quiet place, ruled by the goddess of the same name. Their myths were full of prophecies, especially Ragnarok, the end of the world, when gods and giants would fight a final battle. For the Vikings, life was short, death was certain, but honor was eternal. These beliefs gave them courage to face the unknown seas and enemy swords without fear. Every age must end, and so did the Viking Age. By the 11th century, Europe was changing. Kingdoms grew stronger, defenses improved, and Christianity spread into Scandinavia. Many Vikings converted, willingly or by force, and their old gods were slowly forgotten. The final blow is often marked at the Battle of Stamford Bridge in 1066, where the English King Harold defeated a Viking army. Just weeks later, Harold himself would fall to William the Conqueror at Hastings. With that, the Viking Age ended, but their spirit never truly died. The Vikings left behind more than fear. They shaped languages. English words like sky, egg, and knife come from Old Norse. They influenced law, trade, and exploration. Their descendants settled across Europe, from Ireland to Russia. And even today, we see them in movies, TV shows, and games. From Marvel's Thor to the Vikings series, their gods and warriors still capture our imagination. The truth is, the Vikings were not just raiders. They were farmers, explorers, poets, and dreamers. Their ships crossed seas, their stories crossed centuries, and their legacy sails on with us. The Viking Age ended 1,000 years ago, but whenever we hear the crash of waves or the call of adventure, perhaps a little part of us still carries the spirit of the Vikings. If you enjoyed this journey through the end of the Viking Age, don't let the story end here. Like this video to support the channel, subscribe to Eternal Viking for more tales of Norse gods, warriors and explorers, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which Viking legend do you want us to uncover next? Your support keeps these stories alive, so join the crew and set sail with us into the world of the Vikings.